Kia ora everybody, and welcome back to another week of Hoop Heads. It's a beautiful time of the year because there is basketball, and on tonight's show, the Liberty have broken through, but Game 5, it wasn't without its controversy. The NBA is back. We have all your opening day action. And Tauihi round 3 provided the absolute goods. Kia ora everybody, and welcome back to another week of Hoop Heads. Like we said, there is a lot of basketball going on at the moment. I'm Brook. To my left, we have Taylor Johnson. Mel's back in the building, Casey Frank as well. A lot to talk about this week, team, but I'm going to start with Taylor, because you're actually leaving us.
I am. I'm going to be like you and be Mrs. Worldwide. I'm going to New York to run the New York Marathon for charity. So for Cure Kids, surely put in a donate thing over here somewhere. Or follow me on Instagram and there's a donate page there at Taylor Johnson 8. But yeah, we are raising funds for Cure Kids.
How's the lungs? How's the lungs? How we feeling?
You know what? I'm fitter than I've ever been, which is really annoying. I'm like, I wish I dedicated myself to training when I was like playing properly. But you know what? It's all good. And you know what? You don't lose weight when you run, which I found out as well, because you're always eating. But 42 Ks around New York's going to be fun. Going to catch a couple NBA games. So
42 Ks?
42K?
That's a couple of subways too.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah. Meet you at the other side. How are we, boys? Obviously, there's a lot to talk about today, but how are we feeling on the couch?
Just like, I know you said it, but this time of year is beautiful.
It is the best time, right?
Yeah, it is.
NBA's back, Tauihi's here, NBL's here. It's
Better than Christmas,
fine.
man. Basketball all over the place. The WNBA Finals just finished. The NBA's about to tip off. We got Tauihi cracking, NBL cracking. It's great.
There is a lot on. And speaking of New York, let's start with New York. The Liberty are the champions of the WNBA. It went to Game 5. Like we said in the opener, it didn't come without its controversy, though. At the very, very end of the ball game, which we'll get to very shortly, there was a lot that we needed, to talk about. But at the end of the day, the people who are going to get the rings are the New York Liberty.
Liberty went through a lot over multiple years to get to this point. So their celebrations are well-deserved. They really did go through a lot of tough opponents to get to this point. I personally thought the Lynx had a superior team coming in. It wasn't really proven in the finals. It looked like it was pretty evenly matched. But in the end, you got to give the victors their spoils, and they're going home with the chip.
I mean, it had all the drama that every final series has, but in particular with that last call. It was tough, but for me, I think the WNBA went up another level this year, of course, when you bring in the whole Caitlin Clark factor and just everyone watching more women's sport. But that final for me was disappointing because the normal players didn't ball out. Like Sabrina won from 19. That was the pinnacle. Everyone was watching that game and it gave all the naysayers their opportunity to say, this is why we don't watch women's basketball. And it's not reflective of the amazing season that we had.
I'll be honest, I looked at what they shot and it's just like, that's Game 5 pressure, that's an elimination.
Yeah.
That's a championship game. Like, I don't know if you remember, was it the Ron Artest, he bailed out Kobe who shot an air ball against the Celtics in the NBA Finals. Like, these things happen. It's just unfortunate it happened when it was in the spotlight.
The pinnacle.
Yeah.
It was against the Suns in the first round. But
no, it wasn't against
there was
Celtics and
Celtics.
Hey, we're talking women's basketball.
You're right.
Hey, leave that. We're going to talk about NBA later.
Being a champion means you don't have to say I'm sorry. Yeah. Because they got the rings, and it doesn't matter what. In 15 years, in 20 years, they're just going to see who's on the names on the trophy.
That is true, but what we are talking about right now, because I feel like we're still in, their space is their final call. It has been less than a week. I think it was 5.2 seconds left on the clock. If we take a look at this, Stewie gets the shot, they call the foul, and she goes to the line to tie it up. Now, she has to make the two, don't get me wrong, but this is where the controversy begins, is on that foul right there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it live, it doesn't look like a lot of contact. Looking at there, it looks like a bit less.
Yeah, that contact, she's got her feet planted, she's driven backwards.
I mean, it's on the arm when she's shooting, but that is, like by rule.
So slightly.
You're going to get that called, you are. But then again, before that play, though, the travel.
Let's go to that's what we have to talk about as well. There was maybe something that happened before we got to that point as well. Let's take a look at that.
So the foul's bad, but this.
And it's the fact they reviewed this too and watched her travel in slow-mo multiple times.
Little shuffle. But then she got the ball on the floor.
Look, the S6 team that I help coach, that's fine. Their games, that's fine. They're trying to learn the game.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I'd be mad if my 8-year-old, just turned 8-year-old daughter was traveling like that when she was working on stuff. So.
But that's home court advantage too, right? Don't
get fined.
Right. Hey, speaking of being fined as well, because, you can go back and forth on that conversation for a long time, but the press conference post-match with the Minnesota Lynx coach went down like this.
I thought today was incredibly disappointing. The challenge, we have got to change our challenge rules, and the officials doing the game should have a third party, because that was not a foul. If we would have turned that clip in, they would have told us that it was marginal contact, no foul. Guaranteed. And I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because was stolen from us. Bring it on.
I like that too. Good on her for coming out and saying that. When it comes down to the NBA or WNBA championship, good on her.
She feels like how everyone else felt watching the game, and I think the most disappointing thing from that is there were more people talking about the last few seconds of that game than the game itself, or even congratulating the Liberty. You know, all the NBA players were weighing up on that call, as opposed to saying congrats. And I think, winning is winning, but when you win, you want to win emphatically.
No code in the world doesn't have like anti-criticism rules around it, though.
Yeah.
And she's frustrated after the moment. She feels like the championships have stolen. She's going to get fined. Hopefully the owners are coming to the rescue there and helping that out. But you've got to call it, for the WNBA, for that to be a storyline afterwards, it's really unfortunate.
Well, that's the big thing. I think with everything great that's happened this year, to talk about that and then to go straight from that into some labor strife where they've opted out of the agreement and there's a possibility of a work stoppage coming up. They've built up so much goodwill. There's a couple of things that they need to get right, but in the mainstream media, if people are casual fans, they're talking about the wrong things instead of the things they should be focused on, which is the quality of the game.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for players like Collier, because she was outstanding and she got fouled so many times and it was overlooked.
Oh, we saw some big ones there.
Oh, they were, like, on social media, she put like the big face of the head and it was no call. Yeah, we got that call. Like, make it make sense, Brook.
Well, overall, you have to say, I mean, yes, you can talk about that, but it was a success.
Yeah.
When you think about the numbers, the eyes that we saw for the WNBA, it has to be a massive, massive success. Well, staying with the ladies, Tauihi round 3 has kicked off. Well, we've seen round 3 now, and I mean, there's some surprises as we look up here. That Queens and Fire game, the Queens had a huge lead going into it late. They held on at the end. Pouākai get their first one over the Kāhu, and the Tauihi, they got their dub as well. Let's start with the Queens. And they started well. They had a huge lead in Porirua, but late in that ball game, the Fire gave them the scare that I don't think many of us saw coming.
Well, that's been probably because they felt like they didn't see it coming as well. Like, you're up big at home, you're talked about as a title contender year on year, and it's only year 3, but you're in the mix every time. Like, you just need to come this season. That's the best thing, that every team now can beat each other.
And I think the Queens still are learning about themselves. They've got so much talent, they're going to have to find a way to blend it. Coming into the game, they were the lowest scoring team in the league. They dropped those 90 points, but really struggled on how to execute their offense late in the game. That's why the Fire almost came all the way back from that 20-point deficit. As they figure things out, I think they'll be a little bit more settled, but we are seeing some of those early season growing pains of a very talented
Well, I'll tell you what else we're seeing. We're seeing some stars. The WNBA stars, they came out and they hooped in this ball game as well. 32 on one side for Ashley. Jordan Horston had a 33-piece as well. I mean, she put up 30 shots, but you can play like that. Go and get your shots up too, but it says it right there.
Well, I know you don't mind anybody shooting 30 shots, Brook.
I'm up for it. I'm pro that, but I mean, this is what we want to see, right? These absolute guns going to work.
Look at the skill.
100%. I mean, I love watching Jones play. She obviously didn't show up in the last game. We're talking
about this
that.
one.
But this one, she bought out. She really did. And I love that battle, and I love that people are seeing that. But I think the Fire, what they learned about themselves too, is they can come back. Then they gave themselves that belief, and they really banded together in this game. But Horston, I mean, how good that we have WNBA players playing, and high-caliber ones too.
Well, the way that they're playing too.
The pace, I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, the pace of this league has gone up, not just one notch, but a lot of notches at the moment. We're getting points. Like the first season, it wasn't great shooting percentage-wise, right? Yeah. This season, though, it just seems as though the elevation of the talent has dragged the rest of the roster up as well.
Yeah, and we do have more imports. They're playing more minutes. I think you're going to see the foundation being built this year. In later years, I think you're going to see the Kiwis being lifted because of the lessons they're learning. But right now, it's being played. The game's being played at an unbelievable pace. A lot of talent, and teams like the Queens need to figure out how to fit that talent together.
The product has to be appealing. That's the main thing.
And it is right now. It really is. And we obviously have these stars. We have some young ones coming through as well. And Miss Hokianga down the end there for the Fire, she really stepped up and gave them a real good chance to win this ball game. She looked good down the stretch.
17 years old. Look at these moves. I mean, Pallas Okeanga is a standout youngster in our game, but the way that she stood up against Florencia Chagas really played her well. Actually played her so well that she started cramping. You know, she harassed her all over the court, made her work up to that rate because of the activity. I mean, a 17-year-old playing against the WNBA draft pick, scoring double figures.
Yeah.
And
Massive.
coming off her Rapid League MVP as a 16-year-old a season ago, the sky is the limit for her. We know she did so well at the Hoops Nation NBA camp, where she was, I think it was the most congenial or the most well-liked player. I can't remember the exact word, but you know, not only is she a really good, promising player, but a great person as well.
Hooping, and we love to see it. And speaking of hooping, let's keep it moving. The Pouākai get their very first win over the Kāhu. They do it at home as well, but this is a big, big win for them. We see it right there, 88-79, and it is their first one over the Kāhu. It's got to feel good.
I didn't tip them to be the team to tip up the Kāhu this year because, you know, we talk about the Queens being so good and it's always that battle between them, but the Pouākai, they played outstanding and defensively were very, very good.
You can't rest on this league. That's a great example.
Yeah.
Especially with the hoi-ho. I know we're going to get to the hoi-ho afterwards, but it's so good just seeing everybody getting caught out. And one, maybe two games around, you just have to be on. And if you get caught on a back-to-back especially, you're in trouble.
To me, that win was all about strategy. I think Coach Paul Flynn did a really nice job of setting up the defensive schemes, took the ball completely out of Talia Tupaia's hands. She only got, I think it was 8 shots total in the game. She made 6 for 8. You know, she still had a decent game, but they took away her ability to impact things. They let Amari Thomas go off. She went off. But everybody else was pretty much locked down. And if you can control, you can let a paint scorer go because you're not getting hit by the threes. It's going to you can contain that a bit, especially when you're not letting her pass out of it and letting other people be weapons. And speaking of Amari Thomas,
yes, sir.
It was an L, but look at this powerful performance she put in.
She had 37 points, and you're right. We know what she can do from behind the arc, but she was just a beast down there.
She's tough. Like, she owns the paint in this league. I don't think anyone does it better than her right now, offensively and defensively. She's just tough. You know that you're going to go in for a dogfight when you go up against her in the paint.
Just look at the space she's creating on these seals, the quickness of foot, her ability to go to the left shoulder, to the right shoulder, the soft touch, she can shoot it, so you have to be up on her. I mean, as a low post player, she's got a complete bag.
You're going to have to punch her in the face. And I think, you know what?
That might not work either.
But if you got the same refs on the WNBA, it's all go. You can do it.
She would like taste her own blood and go, that's what I like.
I'm here. She did tie the scoring record, 37 points she had, so silver lining in there. But yes, congratulations to her. Tied it with her old teammate Tess Madgen, who we know exactly how good she is.
No one punch her in the face, okay? I'm just joking for effect.
Let's keep this one moving. The Hoi get a win as well. It was a tough weekend for the Fight. Obviously, that first game was close. It was close, but they go down to the Hoi as well. They had a couple with 20 pieces. Hurst and Bowman both put up 20. So Hoi, they get this win too.
Well, I love Bowman. The way she plays. She had 20 points, but she had grindy 20 points. She's getting in there. She's not making it pretty. Defensively, she's great.
That's at your 20 points.
Right around there, you know, just getting elbows in, getting some putbacks. I really like she did. And to see Elise Hurst playing a little bit better than she started the season, I think that's the key to that Hoi offense.
I think we need to give our flowers as well to Nacho because she was the one who was told Mark Jones, and she did exceptionally well. I think Jones didn't score her first points until the third quarter. 2
points coming in the fourth, 8 points total in the game.
You know, like, that's crazy stuff from a woman who was averaging 32 points going into the game. Like, that was a defensive masterclass from her. Same time, I just feel like Jones is a little bit off that game as well.
Might have left the jump shot in the overhead compartment on the flight down.
I have a feeling, just something wasn't quite on, but we got to give our kudos to Cho.
And give our kudos to round 3. Incredible round 3. NBA, let's keep this one moving. NBA is officially back. Opening night, let's take a look at it. Celtics were on fire. They came out like they had a point to prove, 132-109 over the Knicks. Their second game, which we'll get to in a second. Lakers get a dub over the Timberwolves. But let's start it with Jayson Tatum. He's finally got a ring. Obviously, him and Jaylen Brown, there's been so much chat around that, but let's take a look at him getting their very first ring. And banner number 18, where Jaylen Brown goes up in Boston.
He played like the guy that wanted some minutes in the Olympics. He wanted to be that guy. You know, that was the talk about him for the past few months. And he came back with a point to prove. And my God, did he prove that point.
It's just so annoying. It really is. I mean, it really is. Like, they've just given the two best players, they're aggrieved. They talked about in the broadcast, Reggie Miller said it. He's aggrieved. Jaylen Brown's aggrieved. He's not even there. I turned it off when Derek White hit 2 contested back-to-back threes, and I was like, I'm done. The season is over for me. My fantasy team sucks. Burn it to the ground. I'm done. Let's move on.
We're only on day one, Mo.
No, but
If Tatum would have shot like this in the Olympics, guess what? He would have played.
Yeah.
But he was not shooting like
yes, that's right.
There's the naysayer.
That's right. He's been motivated. He's coming back. They shot 29 threes in the first game of the year.
Most of
these dudes still on mental vacation.
Let's talk about the Knicks. So much promise and so much hope. And I just feel as like the Bing Bong crowd, that's like, it's over already.
It's over already.
Well,
they have all these parts. Mikal Bridges shot somewhere. I think he left it over the bridge in Brooklyn. It's like, it's
know what he
back
done
to
with
like
that.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. That's my favourite meme. Like, the Knicks have these pieces, but it doesn't look like they've got anyone who can really help out.
You know what I love? It's game one. And we're already like, their season's done. Boston's already won it.
When you bring in a guy like Cat, who needs the ball to be successful offensively and doesn't know how to play out in the corner and off that on-ball stuff as well as you'd like, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to come together.
And he said coming into the game when they talked to him, pre-match, that he felt really uncomfortable and unfamiliar playing in a different jersey.
Yeah.
That's always what you want to hear.
Right?
Exactly.
He's not going to last with those Knicks fans.
They're going to eat him up in New York.
We do need a feel-good story, and that feel-good story came in game 2 of opening night. It's LeBron James and Bronny Jr. They share the court. Obviously, we've all seen it, but it was, if you didn't feel a little type of way in your heart or you didn't cry, I don't know if you got a heart when those two checked in. It was something special. Rui Hachimura goes off. AD had himself a game as well, but, the story of it all is LeBron and Bronny, they get out there to play together.
I love that. Like, it's for whatever you want to say on the internet about the way it's nepotism at work and then no one else is going to draft him and they got him in the second round, whatever. That's a cool moment. Like, the longevity of LeBron to have a son in the NBA, Jordan couldn't do it.
It's certainly a case for LeBron.
Yeah, it certainly is.
But you're talking about like the 52nd pick in the draft, which maybe you have a strike rate of what, 1 out of 15?
Yeah.
And maybe 1 out of every 15 comes through and dumps something. And if you can have Bronny on the team and make LeBron a little bit happier in February to go to training or play, maybe he plays 20 more games because Bron's being brought up from the G League because he's got a chance to do that. So he's playing 65 instead of 55. Any of these things, that is worth whatever you can get. If you make LeBron 3% better, those 3 percentage points are wins across the season that can really help your franchise.
It's going to be hard for Bronny to get minutes when they trade for Steph Curry.
You're going to sell Steph now?
Yeah.
The other one is AD. They gave AD the ball, was kind of like we see, okay, it's the passing the torch. I think JJ is going to be an incredible coach.
Yeah, he can coach.
He can coach his behind off. I think we saw that in game 1. But it was a nice transition giving it to AD and just hooping.
Going back to your Cat point, Julius Randle's the same. Like for Minnesota.
Yeah.
He needs the ball. He's literally a ball stopper as a black hole. He loves a 3-dribble set-up move before he actually does what he does. Like for him and Ant to coexist, like he's a great option on the second team when they spell Ant. But they've extended Rudy Gobert by all accounts as well. So
those are Nas Reed's minutes.
Yeah, I know.
So that's the problem. There's 3 to fit in 2 right here, and one of them's not gonna be there the entirety of the year. I don't think somebody's gonna have to move out. Probably Randle, if you can find a buyer for him to get something good out of it. But it does look like a team that Ant's gonna be taking that step. He's gonna be tough to guard all year long, and they're gonna be better.
All I know is that day 1 delivered.
Wow.
And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Like, oh my gosh, we've got how many more months of this to go? I can't wait.
You're absolutely right. And you get to go enjoy some games. Now, the NBL is happening at the same time. There's just so much basketball going on at the moment. The NBL is going on. You have to feel for the Breakers. We know about the travel schedule, heading over to the NBA, playing those games, coming back and playing in Brisbane. They just look like they didn't have legs. They dropped that game. Sydney gets a game. Obviously, Xavier Cooks is back in the building. He's looking great. And then that Perth Wildcats game against the Breakers, we touched on that a little bit earlier, but Bryce Cotton going down. And we take a look at this one. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, they get a dub.
How good.
They get a dub over their Melbourne counterparts, Melbourne United. But let's start with the Breakers and that Perth Wildcats game. And I think we all kind of breathed a little bit better knowing that Bryce Cotton went down. And you never want that to happen.
You never
know
I hope you're okay, Bryce.
That man is
I hope you're all right.
beast. That man is a beast, and Breakers fans all went, whew,
yeah.
Oh,
Ty Webster and Jesse Wagstaff almost stole that game as well.
They did.
But they hung on, back of an NBA road trip. That's what you need to do. Like, you drop that game in Brizzy, but then you come home and get a win it sets you up because your bye weeks are gone. You've got double headers coming up the next 3 rounds or something like that, 3 of the 4 rounds, whatever.
This team is showing great resiliency early in the season, which is a really good sign for a new coach and basically a new team. I mean, there's not a lot of turnover from last year, so to have that mental toughness this early puts them in great stead.
Well, one of their new guys is Mooney, but you might take one of those O's out because he is money.
I love that one.
Boom. 7 of 10 from deep. He had 28 points. I mean, this is why they got him here. He can shoot the lights out, and boy, did he shoot the lights out.
Professional scorer. I really like his attitude. The partnership that he's starting to form with Mitch McCarron has turned into some really interesting offense. And obviously, he's a guy the Breakers trust to get that catch and shoot game. I'd like to see a little bit more of this from him, the off the ball with the ball in hand. You know, when you're going from that second side from PJC on an on ball, getting his hands attacking off the bounce. But what a score on that second side.
Those are deep threes. He's a good couple of feet out from the three-point line, and they're contested.
And I'm glad that he's finding his rated this early in the season, because usually people take a while to warm up, but we're still very early in the season, and we've already used up our buys. So the fact that he's finding his mojo now, let's hope it continues.
Well, speaking of finding his mojo, I mean, we are also, borderline proud might be the word.
Yeah.
Legit.
Stoked to see Max Darling really doing this thing. Awesome. He looks at home out there in that starting 5.
It's tough to get into Modi's rotation, and if you impress like he has within your coaching staff, he does things that other guys in that spot won't do for the Breakers. Look at this.
Look at this possession.
Now, this is Rams kind of defense. This is what Judd Flavel demands, and this is what he delivers at another level.
Phenomenal.
Max Darling for Koppinen as well.
His story is really interesting. He was one of the best prospects in the age group coming up. Went to Croatia, basically playing as an import, as a teenager still. Mm-hmm. And I think it just regressed his career path a little bit. He came back. He couldn't get in the rotation in Illawarra as a developmental player and struggled to get back into the NBL. As he sort of found himself as a player in Canterbury the last couple of years, what he does defensively, he's improved the jump shot. Mm-hmm. Physically imposing player. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Moles, but he is thick.
Thick double C. I love you, Max Darling.
But we see he's also got the lightness of foot. He can move defensively, he can slide, he's athletic, and we see the shot. It's really heartening to see him perform to this level.
And I think this is going to be a big year for him and his brand, because, he's obviously a Kiwi, and a lot of Breakers players love to see the Kiwis do well, right? And so for his brand, this is going to be awesome for him, and to get those sustained minutes, and I think, excuse the pun, he's going to be the darling of the team.
It's a tired.
Tom's gone, but I genuinely think,
it is a tired,
he's the Kiwi guy.
It's a tired old trope that they have to have a heap of Kiwi players in the professional basketball team. It doesn't matter. It's not a rule around the world. It doesn't they don't have a heap of Tassie players in the and the jack jumpers, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on. This is good, though. You're right. Max Darling is the Kiwi, and the starting 5, producing, nice.
I think all the Tasmanian jack jumpers did actually have to change their citizenship from Australian to Tasmanian.
True.
They did.
I think it's a rule.
Quick one on the Breakers tonight as well. There's no Mitch McCarron. Mojave King is out as well, but they play the Breakers one more time. And that one is down in Christchurch tonight. So
against the Phoenix, who are looking for that second win for Sammy Mack, it's going to be interesting.
They'll have their tails up.
Phoenix, they're a talented team. If things are going right for them,
they are.
In the
Big win they had. Now, there is a lot still coming up. It was a big weekend and big week that we just had of basketball. Don't worry, don't stop there. Kāhu, Pouākai kick it off on Friday. Saturday, it is the Fire trying to get one back over the Queens. Pouākai rounded off. It's their Battle of the South on Sunday at 2 o'clock. That one is at Cowes. Doesn't stop there, though. There's more basketball coming up with the Breakers taking on, as we just said, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, that one. And then the NBA. I mean, a lot of people, if you play fantasy, had Luka or Wemby. Those two go head-to-head tomorrow.
If you got the 8th pick like me.
Who'd you get?
I got Ant, though, so I'm quite happy.
That's good. That's good.
And at 8?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that's not bad. All right, speaking of the NBA, we've decided that we're going to put these guys under the pump to finish the show with a bit of a celebration with the NBA returning. We're just going to do a little bit of a pop quiz or NBA quiz.
Okay.
Now, I need a buzzer, first of all. Can I hear your buzzers first?
Choo!
That's what I'm talking about, Mose.
He stole mine. That's appropriate.
Oh,
I'm ding. I'll be ding.
Ding.
I can ding.
No, I'll ding. No, I'm kidding. You get it. No one see who's better than Mo.
Bang.
Bang?
Bang.
Bang. All right, let's go through this quick. I'm getting yelled at. Which team drafted German phenom Dirk Nowitzki?
Bang. The Dallas Mavericks.
That's wrong.
Ding.
Oh,
Bucks.
Yes. Correct. Good job.
That was a guess. That was a guess. That was a guess.
You've been given the answers.
Who's ready for tractor trailer?
Who won the first ever NBA game?
The first?
The first ever.
Is it the?
I mean, it's borderline topical.
Don't know.
Ding.
The Boston Celtics.
Close.
Bang.
Bang.
I said ding after.
The Knickerbockers.
You can't say
Joe Knickerbockers.
Well, we've got to keep
No
moving,
point.
so I'm just going to keep going. Who is the first basketball player to win an Oscar for a short film, Dear Basketball?
Bang.
Joe.
That is Kobe Bryant.
That is Kobe Bryant. We got 1-1. Name one of the original NBA teams still playing in the league
Bang.
today. Yep.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
No.
No, because of Minneapolis. Joe.
But they're still the Lakers. They're still one of the teams.
Oh, it's a technicality.
It didn't say the team's still in
Hey,
the
I'm just
same
messing
city.
around
I
here.
don't even know. I just want to say I'm the youngest one on the couch, so I don't know shit.
Knickerbockers.
Have that right there. Steven Adams has played for how many teams?
Joe. 4.
Mouse takes it out. Chair Who Warrior. The Chair Who Warrior.
Well done.
No, Casey.
He's not happy about that.
Shake my hand, bro.
Casey,
Good.
freak.
Well done.
That's all we have time for, actually. Hey, it is a big... It's another
let's break
big,
it up
big
here,
week
guys.
of basketball. Taylor, good luck.
Yes, I'm going to need
Yes.
all the luck in
Yes,
the world.
Good
to
luck
run
over in New
42
York.
No
Kill
breaks. You have to run all 42 straight. Yeah.
Enjoy
What a
the
straight.
basketball. Breakers are coming up tonight. A bunch more going
Go
on.
Taylor.
Who cares for another week?
Hooroo.